Yes. Okay, good. That's done that. All right. So we are going live, and I'm going to audio.
All right. And do you want it to capture me as well? Or?
Sure. Yeah. You should be able to just, in fact, you know what? I'm going to shut this. I'm going to minimize this.
So that everyone can listen in as we do our
Exactly.
master of ceremony.
Yes. So UMC.
Okay. Sounds good.
And actually, if you want to just hold that.
Okay. All right, everybody, we're just about ready to get started. Thank you all for coming out. I think it's pretty impressive that we had this great of a turnout here with our venue change all of a sudden, and you know, also here as the first Pints and Politics live again. So thank you for being here, and you know, hopefully this will lead to many more in-person events resuming, I think, throughout Bell County and beyond. So I think we're ready for the invocation. Chip, would you like to take care of that for us?
Let us pray. Holy Father, thank you for your goodness, your loving kindness, and all the many blessings of this life. Thank you for this great country that we live in, this wonderful state, and all those that are making it better. All of us that are together are doing what we need to do to make this place better. Lord, just watch over each and every one of us, guide us, direct us, bless and keep us. In your most holy and precious name. Amen.
All right, thank you, Chip. And then the pledges. We have Bob Cornelius here to lead us in the pledges.
Yeah, the flag's in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, thanks, Bob. So now we have drawings for door prizes. And so that's part of the fun part of Pints of Politics. And it looks like Cassie's got the bowl with all the ticket numbers in it. The chairman is drawing the winning ticket now.
And it is 168. 168.
Oh, well. Pick another one. Pick another one.
179. 179.
Okay, here's the door prize. 179. Oh, yeah, we have a winner. All right, does someone want to pass that over? Oh, are there more, or? That's it, that's the door prize. All right, we're all set for door prizes. It's a koozie with Texas on it and blue bonnets too, right? All right, and so now we have our featured guest here, who is Chairman James Dickey, our state party chair of the Republican Party of Texas, and he's here to give his Red Alert Texas presentation. This has some really great information for us, I think, to prepare for the election coming up. Look at where we've been, look at where we're going, and so, Chairman, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, and thank you to everybody following along online. We've got it on Zoom, and we also have it live streamed on Facebook and YouTube. And so I'm going to switch on over here and see. There we go. All right. we're big time. Okay, so this presentation is called Red Alert Texas because that's the attitude I want to be sure everybody has. I've had to do a few interviews in the last few weeks, and in each of those interviews, I get asked time and time again, you know, are the Democrats going to be able to flip Texas? Are they going to turn Texas blue? And yeah, the answer is a resounding no, no way, no how, but not because we've got some God-given right to all of the votes in Texas, but because we are going to do the work we have to do to make sure we earn the votes to keep Texas red. And that's what we're doing. And that's the point of this conversation. So a lot of questions and every time they try and say that we're going to turn Texas blue, the Democrats, being Democrats, say, well, that's just because demographics are shifting in Texas, because the population is shifting in Texas. And the population shift is away from demographics that would vote Republican. Well, first of all, that's racist and it's crap. But second, that's not what's actually happened. What's actually happened is from the 2012 primary, the 2018 election, we added 2.7 million new registered voters in Texas. Now, to give you a little perspective, that is more voters than there are in the entire state of Colorado, period. That's more voters than there are in 26 other states, period. We added a Colorado in the last 6 years. And on our side, we weren't intentional about voter registration. No, we got our organic share, we got our fair share, but we weren't being intentional about making sure we were registering new Republicans. And I'll talk more about that in a second. The other thing that we started doing really big in 2017, the special election right after I got elected, and big in the 2019 election, is legislative advocacy. I tell people all the time, politics, party politics, when we do it right, is a wonderful, virtuous cycle. We get great Republicans elected. They then enact conservative Republican policies, which makes it easier to get great Republicans elected, and so on. And you're seeing that right now. All of the United States benefited from the policies that President Trump has pushed. And in the first 3 years that we got in, and we saw an economy like we had never seen before. And even right in Texas, for the last 16 years, Republicans have been in charge, and we have all benefited from the Republican policies implemented. Even right now, as we're looking at states that are improving, and the amazing job report that came out today, it's Republican policies that produce those great results. Well, we went to war in 2019. We showed up and we testified on hundreds of bills in the Texas legislature. And as a result, we had 100 bills passed that were directly related to items in our platform. And 49 of our planks out of our platform were directly addressed, dealt with in the session. And that's really amazing when you hear that we got about 300 planks. A lot of them are about something national, or they're not necessarily legislative at all, or they're not state legislative oriented. So based on that, to have 49 of them completely addressed, that is truly amazing. And these are some fun ones, including some ones I really care about and I'm happy to be able to report victory in, like for the first time ever, Planned Parenthood gets not a dime of Texas taxpayer money. And we did not put an end to taxpayer funding of lobbying, right? But what we did do is we got mandatory reporting from everyone on what they're spending taxpayer funded lobbying on, so that we can figure out, is a broad brush the right approach, more specific the right approach, where should we have problems, where do we have problems? That reporting, that transparency that we got is going to matter in this next session. And constitutional carry, we fought for that. We did not get constitutional carry, except in a very limited case, we got disaster carry. Now, we've had that disaster carry provision triggered a couple of times, and not surprisingly, no bad news out of those. So we got another proof point and more ammo, if you'll excuse the pun, towards getting constitutional carry advances next time. And then a personal favorite of mine, red light cameras are gone forever. And last but not least, of the ones I talk about, I live in an unincorporated part of Travis County on purpose, right? Not by accident. And for the first time since the founding of Texas, a taxing entity cannot annex you and your neighbors anymore without a vote of you and your neighbors. That is a really good one. So we got good stuff done, but we can't sit on our
Yay.
laurels, and there's a tight timeline for everything. In fact, one of the most important timelines is the filing deadline. If we need a candidate to be available for us right now to win in November, they had to file last December, which meant we needed to recruit them last year. And we had an amazing team. Kat Parks, the Hamilton County Chair, and volunteers from all over the state that she recruited did an amazing job making sure that we had the best, most informed, best trained and prepared cadre of candidates that we have seen. And our mission was to make it so that we had no unchallenged Democrats in Texas. Now, we didn't quite reach that goal, but we did succeed in having the smallest number of unchallenged incumbent Democrats that we have ever had in Texas. And here's a fun one, because I love this. You lose 100% of the races you're not in. Right now, the Democrats have candidates in 837 races across Texas. We have candidates in 2,118 races across Texas. That is 1,300 races we won last week, so that we can concentrate now on those other 800 races. And we can take the battle to the Democrats. I'm so proud about that. And we had amazing training sessions all over the state. So not only do we have candidates, but we got the best prepared candidates we've ever had. We also, the day after the filing window closed, I got a phone call from a Houston Chronicle reporter who said, "Oh my gosh, what'd you do? You had 100% increase in women candidates running as Republicans for Congress in one cycle. 100% increase. How in the world did you do that?" And not only that, but we have the most diverse pool of candidates we've had running. There's a Twitter shot, one of the wives of one of the candidates posted up, of the 3 Black Republican congressional candidates we had in Dallas alone. And the wonderful thing about it is, the answer is a very Republican answer. We just made it crystal clear we wanted the best candidates we could get all over Texas. And of course, it was a diverse pool of candidates. It's representative of Texas's Republican Party in 2020. Part of how we were able to attract them was the fact that we've got support for them. And we have support for them through our voter registration efforts. We got support for them through handouts. We got support for them through the best calling app, the best phone banking app we've had, and through the best data we had. And one of the things I'm excited about is this event calendar map. It's on our website at texasgop.org. And it's got these little elephants. And during coronavirus, it was kind of dead. There wasn't a lot of, there were a lot of Zoom activities on here, but not much else. But now, as we're starting to open back up, as we're starting to do our conventions, there are dozens of events going on all over Texas. And the reason why we did that is because we used to get calls every day at the party. I'm new to so-and-so county. How can I get involved? What's going on? How can I do something? This is what the reason why I spent some time on this. This is available for free right here. It says submit a new event here. Submit any event that is open to the public for Republicans, and we will help put the word out about it. We will publicize it. We'll share it on our event calendar map. It'll be available for the people you've got. We also have really cool new websites. I can't wait to be rolling out for the counties. Those are coming any day now. And we have the biggest field staff we've had. We already had, going into coronavirus, we already had more than double the field staff that we had at the peak, not of the last election, not of the last presidential election, but of the last two elections combined. We already had double the staff, and thank God we did. And once again, it's our conservative principles showing up and showing right that our conservative principles are the way to be. But our secret power as a Republican Party is our volunteers. And we had not been doing a good job for a generation. We had not activated volunteers the way we could have and should have. I talked to Ernie Angelo, which is a name a lot of people don't remember anymore. But Ernie ran the campaign for Ronald Reagan to flip Texas in 1976 and 1980. And when the 80 election was over, he ended up sending out thank you notes to 22,000 volunteers across the state who had helped the campaign win in Texas. When I met him and I heard about that, I said, okay, we've got to do this again. We need to do this. And we came up with an idea to do 10K for 10R to kill two birds with one stone. Our goal is to have 10,000 volunteers who will each help us register 10 new Republican voters apiece. So that A, we can get back to the roots and back to the days of us intentionally registering voters so that we get more than our fair share of those millions of new voter registrations. But also so that we've got a serious purpose for volunteers, a way they can get involved throughout the cycle. Because there's a lot of stuff in politics, there's a lot of stuff that only matters at a given time. You know, you want to train somebody about the need to go all the way down the ballot because straight ticket voting doesn't happen anymore. You need to be doing that in the last 90 days of the election, because otherwise, if they didn't already know it and care about it, they'll forget it. If you want to get people filling out absentee ballot stuff, you've got this year to do it. If you want people filing to run for office, you've got last year to do it. If you want to register to vote, that works anytime up to 30 days before the election. And if you miss that, it works for the next election. So it's a good thing to do all the time. So we started the 10K for 10R, 10,000 volunteers, 10 Republicans each. And that works out to 100,000 new registrations is our goal. Well, we have already activated nearly 3,700 volunteers, have confirmed with the Secretary of State registration of 89,070 new Texas Republican registered voters. Of course, all this work takes money. The staff, the tools, texting, the mail, everything else. And I am super proud of the fact that last year we set a record in fundraising. What I'm even more proud of is we've had a lot of people step up, including some donors who wrote some really big checks. And if you look at how much we raise in each category, major donors obviously made up a huge part of the additional amount of money that we raise. But you can subtract every penny of that major donor money, and we'd have raised a record even without it. So we not only grew the party's funding, we grew the base of the party's funding. But better yet, we're conservatives. We didn't just raise the money, we saved the money for this year's battle. And that's why, even though the party had never had $2 million cash on hand before I became chair 3 years ago, we ended 2019 with $4.4 million cash on hand. And as of right now, in the middle of coronavirus, 2 months into coronavirus, with double the field staff that we had at the peak of the last 2 elections combined, with activity like you've never seen before, we're now at $4.6 million. And it's all to be ready for victory in 2020. So how's all this working, right? It's great to have the resources, but if it doesn't produce a good result, it doesn't matter. Well, we decided to try it out right in the belly of the beast. Democrats think that they get a free rein in urban Texas, and they think that they got a smooth road to victory in suburban Texas. Well, we are not taking rural Texas for granted. Every county in rural Texas, as I visit, we talk about the need to grow our base in that county. We are not taking that for granted. But the days of us ceding urban Texas to the Democrats are gone. So we went to battle in the Houston City Council races, not Harris County, Houston. And not just the Republican part of Houston, the citywide at-large city council seats. There were 3 of them up last December, and we had great candidates in all 3. Help do that by paying for this mailer. Down there it says, political ad, paid for by the Republican Party of Texas. We did it by doing text. We did it by helping Block Walk and Phone Bank and having the tools and offering those tools, make them available. And this third candidate at the ripe old age of 23 and super conservative in Austin and Houston city limits, he only lost by 2 points. More to come. So they thought they had us in the urban area, and we went right to the urban area and we pulled the victory off. We showed we could do it there. But man, are they all in for the Texas House, because the Texas House is critical to controlling redistricting in 2021. And this was their line. Their line was, well, in 2018, we won 12 Texas House seats. So now we only are 9 away from getting control of the Texas House. And there are 9 seats that are suburban seats where the Republicans only won by 5% or less. So we can win all those, and we can flip the Texas House, and we can control the speaker. We can control redistricting. We're off to the races. So first of all, I like to give a little mini history lesson anytime a reporter calls me with that pitch, and remind them that it was only 2003 when we first won the Texas House in, a century or so. And as recently as 2009, our majority was 1. So having a majority of 9 is not panic point. So first of all, get some perspective. But secondly, they think they're going to win 12 more. First of all, they're not going to keep the 12 seats they won. We're going to win those back. But they're sure not going to win all 9 of those other seats that they think they only need 5 points to do. There was a special election in House District 28 in January, where both sides had the chance to prove whether we were right. It was a suburban district. We had won it by 8 points, a little more than 5, but we'd won it by 8. So their argument was, hey man, if we can even just shave that down 4 or 5 points, then Katie, bar the door. We're coming for all those other suburban seats. We're going to flip the Texas House. And so every Democrat group you can imagine jumped into this thing. MoveOn.org and the National Democrat Party and Beto, you remember him, the guy who wouldn't take any money from PACs. He started a PAC. He put some money in there. Everybody you can imagine, every single Democrat presidential nominee endorsed the Democrat in this race. The New York Times called it the most important first election of 2020. Remember, all they had to do, shave a few points off that 8 points. Well, what we did not pull $2 million in, 75% from outside of Texas. That's what they did. We just worked our plan. We had our staff, Governor Abbott's staff, Senator Cornyn's staff. We had some ancillary groups from Texas who always support Republicans in Texas. We used our data, our systems. We coordinated exactly the way we intend to coordinate it this November. This was in January. We took what had been an 8-point victory in November 2018, and we turned it into a 16-point pounding this January. And that was against all those groups and all that money and all that effort. And Beto standing on every table he could find in the whole district. Didn't matter. In fact, it was such a resounding victory. First of all, I'm grateful. Governor Abbott said the Texas GOP played a huge role in last night's victory, the first victory of 2020. I'm very appreciative for that recognition. But you know what really warms my heart is when the Atlantic has to admit that we have humbled the Texas Democrats. And that's exactly what we did. And we did it executing our plan. The plan that with your help as a volunteer, registering voters, supporting candidates, being involved locally, being alert, we're going to deliver victory in 2020. God bless you. God bless Texas. Okay, I do want to answer a couple of questions, and I'm going to start with one I got before this, and my computer says it's starting to get a low battery. So if I lose y'all, that's why the battery will die sooner or later. Conventions. We have had 4 weekends of conventions. They have come off, according to reports, they're coming off swimmingly, really well. We're getting really good feedback. Most of the delegate lists are ending up pretty full. We got varied reports of conventions that are packed and conventions that are smaller than usual. Even the ones that are smaller than usual tend to be sending a pretty normal-ish kind of number of delegates to state convention. If you didn't already see it, the Attorney General put out an opinion on Monday confirming that convention activity where we elect the presidential electors and we elect our leadership and we elect people who will elect President Trump to be our nominee at the National Convention, that is an essential activity. There's no tin pot tyrant around Texas who can stop us from having a convention. So that's awesome and very good to know. The big news this week, national rules require that we nominate the president and vice president in Charlotte at convention. But the governor of North Carolina won't guarantee that anybody who flies there won't be quarantined in place at their hotel, if they're allowed in their hotel. So we're trying to work a plan whereby we have an emergency, the minimum required number of people showing up there to actually do that, while we go about having the amazing momentum building activities of a convention somewhere else. And somewhere else, right now, somewhere else seems to include 5 major metro areas around the country. Jacksonville, Phoenix, Atlanta, Nashville, and DFW. So DFW is in the running. There, we're gonna plug in a power strip. There we go. DFW is in the running, and we'll see where it ends up. My message to everybody is, look, we got plenty to say grace over. We're going to have our July state convention. We are going to prove, we're going to lead by example. We are going to prove by our example that you can safely have a big convention. And we are going to be working for victory in November. If we get a national convention too, that's awesome. But if not, we got plenty to say grace over. There's that. Any other questions about convention or anything else? Let me see if we got one online. I see y'all were having some chats. That's awesome. Yes.
If somebody wants to get involved with the voter registration, how do they do that?
Great question. I should have said that during the presentation. If someone wants to get involved with the Volunteer Engagement Project and the 10K for 10R, we have sign-up cards here for those of you in person. For anybody who sees this later or otherwise or remotely, you just text 10K, 10K to the number 72,000. If you text 10K to 72,000, you'll get a link, fill out the form, we'll sign you up. And it's the easiest volunteering you've ever done. We will give you a list of names and phone numbers of 10 people that we are 90% sure are hardcore Republican, and we're 90% sure not yet registered to vote in Texas. Now, there are cases where maybe we weren't able to get a good phone number, maybe they passed away, maybe they, like my son, maybe they're showing registered at one address, but not at the other, right? Because he's registered at college instead of being registered at our home. So if we found him at our home, we would think he was unregistered, but he's not. So you get some of that. But as you call through that, all you're asking is, can the Republican Party of Texas mail you a voter registration form? Yes or no? That's it. And it works wonderfully. 89,070 new registrations. Great question. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Can you do more than 10?
You can, but here's the deal. So the question is, can you do more than 10? And you can do more than 10. In fact, we have some people already on a multiple list. And as you do a few, we can give you more. The catch is that we have volunteers all the time looking for those. We try to give the volunteers names near them. And if we gave you a couple hundred names, that'd be a couple hundred people we pulled out of the database that nobody else could call. And very soon we'd be giving your neighbor something in Timbuktu. So we prefer to parse them out pretty small bunches. And we found it to work really, really well. Good call. Good question. Any other question? Yes, Cass.
So I finally saw an email about an update about the state convention. Can you give us some information on that or how to get it?
Yes. Oh, the great question about state convention. So normally everything's really organized and really predictable. And we have, everybody has their Senate district conventions one day. And then we open up registration shortly after that. And then everybody gets registered. And then everybody comes to the convention. Well, this time we had to spread it out so you could have your local convention week window. So we spread registration as so. And there's you've been elected a delegate because you're allowed as a, we added the ability to come as a delegate or prospect delegate, hoping you get elected an alternate, but you're not sure yet because you haven't had your convention. So one can already register, and it's texasgop.me/register. right? So texasgop.me/register. You can go ahead and register. Or you can wait till after you have your convention. We have held back some of the best hotel rooms, and some of those best hotel rooms will be released June 15th. So hopefully you'll all have your conventions before then, and you'll already know, and you'll get registered and you'll come. It's going to be great. I did find out today, y'all are, if you're listening, if you're watching, you will be the first to know. We are announcing tomorrow that the gala, the leadoff speaker for the gala, is somebody who I'm dying to find out what he's been up to for the last few months since he left the Trump administration as Secretary of Energy. Former Governor Perry is going to be the lead speaker at the gala. Yeah, super excited about that. He is always fun to be with. So it's gonna be fantastic. So get your tickets to the gala before they sell out. And spacing, we have reconfigured everything. So I know y'all will all be heartbroken. In your SDs, there will be some extra space now. I know. Personally, sometimes it was nice to be up close and personal when my wife was the delegate next to me. Not so much otherwise, right? So yeah, our plans are spacing out at least 50%. And so who needs to wear a mask, by all means do that. We're conservatives, respect people, or be respectful, kind, be wise, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a lot of hand sanitizer stations. We're gonna have extra room space. We're gonna have extra space, extra rooms, extra facilities, all at no extra cost. The Houston first team, the George R. Brown Center, they have bent over backwards to make it so that we can move this convention 60 days to the one ideal week in the entire calendar for an event that is normally booked 3 years in advance. It was really amazing. They've done a great job. And I could not be happier. And it's going to be a blast. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to turn it back over to Summer. Oh, wait, one more.
Is there any volunteer opportunities at convention, and how do we find out about that?
So there are page volunteer opportunities. That's folks who are 14 to 17, I believe. And there should be a volunteer application form on the convention page of the website. All our information, go to texasgop.org and then click on conventions, click on state convention. They should have that. The page volunteering is really our biggest volunteer activity. I would bet there's some campaigns going on that could also use some volunteers.
One more question here.
Yep.
So when someone registers as a prospective delegate, how do they then update their status once they're an elected delegate?
So when you register, you save your info so you can go back in and add tickets later. You can also change your status later. And we've already talked about the process for, as we get close, June 27th is a deadline for us to have all the delegate lists. As soon as June 27th comes, if people are still showing the system as prospective delegates, we're either going to email them and say, hey, please update it, or we'll check our list and we'll update it. But we will be able to, you won't have to redo anything. We'll be able to update. Great question. Yes. Oh, yeah. We should have volunteers for registration. The new electronic registration system has worked really well. We got great feedback on that last year. But there was actually a really big, great TFRW club in San Antonio that handled most of that volunteer work. There is a welcome arrangements group in Houston. I'll find out how we spread the word about that. That's great. Another great question. Yes.
How can we get those really cool Trump masks?
We have a lot of really cool masks. In fact, although we're down to our last few hundred through the party. I have one that's got a big RPT seal, and I love wearing it at the grocery store in South Austin. I've gotten a lot of compliments, actually. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we have ones with Trump logos. We have ones, we're going to have a bunch of great info. Yeah. Here.
And actually that feeds into the next question, which I think you've addressed a little bit, but someone's asking if masks would be required at the convention.
Yeah. So it's the Democrats who like mandates. We're not so much on mandates. So we have said over and over again, if for any reason you feel like you should wear a mask for your own sake or anyone else's sake, by all means, wear the mask. We will respect your choice to do that, and you won't. I'll give anybody grief who gives you grief. We'll do that, but we're not going to require it at all. There was something else too. Oh yeah, of course. If you feel ill, please don't come. And that's not. By the way, I've told my staff that at work for like a decade now, so that has nothing to do with coronavirus. Just please, if you're sick, don't spread it.
Well, I have heard from some folks that mean about like that. There are places where people who shame people for wearing masks.
Yeah, I've seen it both ways. I've seen people get shamed for not wearing a mask and shamed for wearing a mask.
Without a mask, you get shamed there too.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, I think it's really important to communicate with folks. If you choose not to wear a mask, don't give anybody else grief.
No, and that is precisely why part of why we've got this space. And we are telling people, look, if somebody's wearing a mask, give them a little space, and no, don't give them grief. I mean, come on, it's our convention. We're there to have a blast and nominate President Trump and prepare for victory. Don't be a jerk to anybody. Right. Right. Yeah. Well, and that's so reporters have asked me about that too. Before all this happened, we fully expected we'd have 15 or 16,000 people. It was going to be a record for Texas's convention. By perspective, we had about 10,000 last time, and the lowest we've had was under 5,000 about 10 years ago. So we've had a range of attendance. I was thinking we were going to have 15 or 16 just because of how excited everybody is and all that. But between health concerns or health issues or lost vacation time or lost income or just screwed up schedule because we didn't expect it in July, we expected it to be a convention in May. So for all those reasons, I fully expect that we'll have about half as many as I'd originally thought. We'll have around 7,500 attendees. That's still a big event that we are going to pull off well. We are going to lead by example. Part of how we're going to do that is be respectful, be kind, be wise.
I like that slogan. Thank you, Chairman. That was all fabulous information. Let's see. So let me check in. We have a special trivia question from Joan Howell, and she is actually online on Zoom. And Joan, are you available? If you could chat or unmute and wave or something like that, so we know you're here. You around?
I'll do that.
If not, I have the question, so we can ask it and ask it on behalf of Joan. Let's see.
How do we do that?
Oh, I don't see her. So I'll go ahead and ask it. And anyone who is on Zoom can chat it. And anyone in the room, I guess just shout it out.
I am here.
How many acres of Texas land is in the King Ranch?
I guess I can't hear. Maybe they muted.
And is the rule no Googling? I think we. Whoa. So 825,000. Bob got it.
Wow.
According to the accounting firm of Chip Howell. All right. Well, thank you, Chip, and thank you, Bob, and thank you to the chairman for the wonderful presentation. And we really appreciate everyone. Oh, we have another drawing? Oh, all right.
What are you trying to do, Mary?
Oh, I wanted to answer.
Okay, you're unmuted.
So Jay is picking the number.
Is they have you muted? And they didn't unmute.
178.
Okay, 178. Oh, a couple left. It could have been them. All right, next up. So Jay picked his own number here. All right, next.
172.
172. Okay. Oh, is that some Texas playing cards? Cool. All right. So yes, again, we appreciate everyone who's joined virtually in our virtual Pints and Politics experience tonight. And then everyone who is here in person, it's so great to see everybody again. Shake hands, elbow bump, hug, all of that stuff. And then we also want to thank, of course, our different groups here in Bell County, the Central Texas Republican Women, Salado Area Republican Women, Central Texas Tea Party, and then also the Bell County GOP and Chairman Dickey, all for promoting Pints and Politics. This has been great. And then also our venue here, which I can't, it always trips me up. But yeah, they've been great too. They were able to accommodate us on short notice, and so that's tremendous. This room has really worked out well. So the next Pints and Politics will be TBD in July. It's kind of up against July 4th. Is that right? And so you're kind of working out whether it will be that week or a different date. Don't forget, everybody, early voting for the primary runoffs. That is going to start a week early, I believe. It's been extended. Voting's going to start on June 29th, and early voting goes until July 10th. And then the actual election day is July 14th. And so that is during it's the Tuesday of the convention. So if you will be in Houston for the convention, that's the early part of the convention, then plan to vote early so that you can do both. And let's see, then the Bell County Precinct Convention and county conventions are the venue is TBD, and so keep checking the Bell County website for more information on that. And is the date still going to be on June 20th? Date is the same. It's just the location that is in the works right now. So let's see. Everyone else, check with your local party officials for information on what was that, Chip? Yeah, for the other county conventions, of course. So, and then the RPT convention, as we've talked about, that's going to be taking place July 16th through 18th for the general session. And then the committee events or committee meetings are going to be the 13th through the 16th, I guess. And that's at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston. And then anyone have any announcements? I think Bill.
I just wanted to share something.
Uh-huh.
Chairman Dickey mentioned that the Democrats are assaulting urban and suburban areas. But just a couple weeks ago, Glenn Maxey, who was my counterpart in the legislative affairs of the party several sessions ago, made a Facebook post. He's been looking for houses in Bell and Winston County for 8 Democrat staffers to live through the November election starting June 14th.
Interesting.
They are coming. They're coming to Bell County. And he even bragged to Chris Rosenberg, I guess is the Democrat chair up here, that he's sending help to flip House District 54.
Wow.
Wrote a personal check for $500 to their nominee.
Okay, yeah. So
Democrats are coming, even in Bell County. We need to be ready, as Marty used to say in Nader, we need to nip it in
So what that was, yeah, Glenn Maxey is looking for housing for election workers who will be out for the elections coming out in Bell County and in probably other places too, right? Yeah, so they are on it, and we need to beat them to the punch. Yeah, Cassie.
I was gonna say, you're also, the Biden campaign is looking to hire someone for Amarillo, Texas.
Biden is looking to hire someone for Amarillo.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's one of those rural areas that we don't
Mhm.
really rely on. So they're not taking this, they're not seeing those as either. So
Yeah.
We've got to work in every place that they're on the same.
Exactly. And I think, we saw how the rural counties were so essential for us in 2018. And I think we're going to need to push even harder in the rural areas because they're coming for it. And we can't take them for granted.
And then I also want to call up one more thing, Chairman Dickey. House District 28 race, Congressman for Williamson County, and about 92% of Bell County, John Carter, with the bus and some vans of people down.
Uh-huh.
Our area. Keep it solidly off.
Is-
And there
Yeah.
are opportunities to go around the state.
Yeah, for those who have the ability and can travel statewide, start thinking about it because we'll need you. Yes.
So Williamson County Convention is Williamson County Catholic Church, it's my church.
Yeah.
We have a location, we're barely in Williamson County, but we're within the county. And so we do have a location where we'll be able to with our convention on June 20th.
Okay, so Williamson County's convention it's on June 20th and it's at the Cowboy Church,
Williamson County Cowboy Church.
Williamson County Cowboy Church. What's that?
In Liberty Hill.
And Liberty Hill. Yeah.
Barely.
Barely in Williamson County, but they're there. Well, wonderful. Okay, well, I think that's, let's see, we have an update on victory or that one? Get up here. Let's see. I see her there. I don't know if she's able to talk.
Hey, are you calling on
Okay,
me?
yeah, I think we just need to change the volume,
Hey,
right?
Krista, there we go. Yeah, I got some volume up. Problem is amplification, but tell me and I'll amplify.
Okay. I'm so excited. We are finally launching our Open for Business.
You're not muted, but you're all-
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
Excellent. I'm super excited. We're launching our Open for Business events. They're going to coincide with the president's birthday weekend. So
Okay, hang on. She's super excited. They're going to have an open for business event. It's going to coincide with President's birthday weekend, which is Flag Day, right? Which is this weekend,
June 13th. So
14th. Next weekend.
on the 12th,
Okay,
we're having
so
an
it'll be on
event
the
at
12th.
Jay Neely's Burrito Bar at 6 p.m.
Who's burrito bar?
Jay Neely's.
Jane Ely's burrito bar.
At 6 p.m. We should
What
have
time?
some speakers there. And we're going to have a birthday cake for the president. So I hope everyone joins us for that.
A burrito bar and birthday cake for the president and special speakers, 6 p.m. on the 12th. Was not too low.
And then we're also going to do some block walking on Sunday for those who are comfortable doing that. And I'm going to post all that information online and send out an email. So we'll make sure everyone gets that info too.
She's going to put all that information online and send out an email. So make sure you're following her online. And we'll get there you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Concludes everything we had on the agenda for tonight. And we'll close it up here. And also for coming. And this was really a blast. I'm glad we were able to do this sort of hybrid deal and hopefully spread the word about what Pints and Politics is all about and get some going around the state. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you in Houston, if not before.
Thank you.